All right, let's make a start. We have this listening test and we are going to solve it all together. Remember, in actual exam, when they start the audio, before that they give you some instructions. So it's a good idea to take a quick look of all the test. Part 1, part 2, okay, part 3, all right, part 4, like this. Just take a quick look at all the tests and so that you know what to do. Initially, the audio will go on for some time. You're going to hear a number of different recordings and you will have a chance to check your answers at the end of the test. You will be given 10 minutes, blah, blah, blah. So don't listen to that audio, just you can take a look at the questions, especially part 4. At the end of every section, initially they will give you half minute to read the questions. For example, section 1, they will say, you now have some time to look at questions 1 to 5. You read questions 1 to 5, then they will play the audio. Then again they will say, you now have some time to look at questions 6 to 10. And then again they will play the audio. At the end of each section, they will say, you now have half a minute to check your answers. There is nothing to check. It's a good idea to jump to part 2 and start reading the questions. Because if you read and understand the questions, you can easily find the answers, right? So in part 2 also, they will give you questions like 11 to 15, then 16 to 20, right? And in the middle, they will give you almost half minute. At the end of part 2, they will give you half minute to check your answers, but you will use that time on part 3. You will read the questions there. And then finally, after part 3, they will give you half minute to check your answers. In part 4, they play the audio for 31 to 40. In part 4, they will not stop the audio in the middle. And part 4 is fluent because it's a lecture. One person is talking, and when one person is talking, no interruption, so it can be a little fluent. So it's a good idea, half minute from section 3, and 1 minute they will give you to read the questions. Read all the questions carefully, the way I'm going to tell you how to read the questions. And by the end of your listening test, then they will give you, in paper delivered, they will give you 10 minutes to transfer your answers. And in computer delivered, they will just give you 3 minutes to check all your answers, okay? So let's get started. We have here, complete the notes below, write one word and or a number. Very common question type in part 1 and part 4. One word only, one word and or a number, like this. Moving to Banford City. Now just imagine, someone is going to move to a city and the name of the city is Banford. So somebody is going to move to Banford City, right? They have given example, but we will come to question number 1. Accommodation. Now, when you move to a city, you need accommodation, you need transport, then you want to see advantages of living there. And if you move to a city, then you will meet Linda also. Name can be different, but you will meet someone somehow. So, question number 1, accommodation, average rent, underline the word average. And then there is a pound sign a month. Now, in IELTS, there is always a trap. They have written average rent. In the audio, they will tell you minimum rent. They will tell you maximum rent. And then they will say people generally pay. Now, generally pay means average rent. That will be your answer. For example, they say, well, it starts from 500 pounds and it goes as high as 1500 pounds. But generally, you can get something decent at 1,000 pounds. So what is the answer? 1,000. And pound sign is already given, so you don't need to write that. So this is what we call traps. They check your ability to understand English and then to answer, okay? Now, I play the audio. Please listen, and it's question number 1, and number should be written as a number.
Hello, Linda speaking.
Oh, hi, Linda. This is Matt Brooks. Alex White gave me your number. He said you'd be able to give me some advice about moving to Banford.
Yes, Alex did mention you. How can I help?
Well, first of all, which area to live in?
Well, I live in Dalton, which is a really nice suburb. Not too expensive, and there's a nice park.
Sounds good. Do you know how much it would be to rent a 2-bedroom flat there?
Yeah, you should be able to get something reasonable for £850 per month. That's what people typically pay. You certainly wouldn't want to pay more than £900. That doesn't include bills or anything.
No, that sounds all right. I'll definitely have a look there.
All right, so what's the right answer? 850. Okay, and she said, you don't want to pay 900. You don't, and she said with 850, that's what people typically pay. So what typically pay is average rent. So correct answer is 850. And you will write 850 as 850. Now, transport. Linda travels to work by, very simple, mode of transportation. Linda travels to work by car, by bus, by taxi. So how does she go to office? That will be your answer.
Are the transport links easy from where you live?
Well, I'm very lucky. I work in the city centre, so I don't have to use public transport. I go by bike.
Oh, I wish I could do that.
All right. I don't use public transport. Now, public transport is not the answer. I go by bike. How do you spell bike? B-I-K-E. Your spelling must be correct, okay? So correct answer is bike. Question number 3, limited dash in city center. Now you need to learn how to interpret these words. Limited. Limited means not much. Limited means there is hardly any. Right? Limited dash in the city center. Now let's see what is limited in the city center.
Anyway, driving to work in the city centre would be a nightmare because there's hardly any parking.
There is hardly any parking. So limited and hardly any. They are synonyms and correct answer is parking. You need to learn, actually, if you know the synonyms of limited, only then you will find the answer, okay? Next, trains to London every dash minutes. Now, train to London every dash minute means frequency of trains every 10 minutes. Every 10 minutes means after every 10 minutes there will be a train to London. Every 20 minutes, every 30 minutes and all that.
And the traffic during the rush hour can be bad.
I'd be working from home, but I'd have to go to London 1 or 2 days a week.
Oh, that's perfect. Getting to London is no problem. There's a fast train every 30 minutes, which only takes 45 minutes.
That's good.
30, 45. Well done. Very good. And when you write the wrong answer, you are double confident. You say, I Canada tonight, direct flat. Okay? So, correct answer is 30. It takes 45 minutes. Now, train takes 45 minutes to reach London. So, there is a fast train every 30 minutes. Correct answer is 30. Do you need to write minutes? No, because it's already written. You will not write that, okay? Just follow again.
And the traffic during the rush hour can be bad.
I'd be working from home, but I'd have to go to London 1 or 2 days a week.
Oh, that's perfect. Getting to London is no problem. There's a fast train every 30 minutes.
See that? There is fast train every 30 minutes.
Which only takes 45 minutes.
Which only takes 45 minutes means duration. Duration is 45 minutes. All right. Next, we've got advantage of living in, question number 5. Poor train service at. Now, let's see, when do they have poor train service? What is poor train service? Trains are late, trains are slow, trains don't run on time. So when do they have poor train service? Maybe at night, maybe in the morning, maybe on Sundays, something like that, okay?
Yeah, the train service isn't bad during the week, and they run quite late at night. It's weekends that are a problem. They're always doing engineering work, and you have to take a bus to Haddam and pick up the train there, which is really slow.
So, when do they have problem? On the weekend, right? Yes, exactly. Just follow.
Yeah, the train service isn't bad during the week.
The train service isn't bad during the week.
And they run quite late at night.
And they run quite late at night. That's not a problem.
It's weekends that are a problem.
It's weekend that there are problems. So poor train service at weekend or weekends. Both are correct. Singular or plural. Let's go on. Advantages of living in Banford. Okay, question number 6. New dash opened recently. New. Now answer will come with the synonym of new. New, or they can use the word brand new or anything like that. Now let's see what new thing has opened in Banford.
There are some nice restaurants in the city centre and a brand new cinema, which has only been open a couple of months.
Okay, there are nice restaurants. Will it be the answer? No. And a brand new cinema, which has opened a couple of months ago. So brand new cinema and which has opened a couple of months ago. With restaurants, she did not say that restaurants are brand new. So correct answer is cinema. That's right. Question number 7. Dash has excellent reputation. Underline the word excellent reputation. For example, answer is restaurant has excellent reputation. For excellent reputation, they can also say it's the best restaurant in town. It's the best restaurant in the city. Best restaurant in the city means it has excellent reputation. Okay, so they will replace excellent reputation. Now whatever has excellent reputation, it will be your answer.
The schools are good, and the hospital here is one of the best in the country. Everyone I
Okay, the school is good, but the hospital here is the best in the country. Now hospital is the best in the country means hospital has excellent reputation. So correct answer is hospital. Well done. Next, good dash on Bridge Street. Maybe good cafe on Bridge Street. So clue word is Bridge Street. Now what good thing is there, right? Let's see.
Oh, I can give you the name of my dentist too, in Bridge Street, if you're interested. I've been going to him for years and I've never had any problems.
Oh,
Okay, so I can give you the contact of my dentist. I've been going to him for years and I have never been any problem or I never faced any problem. So correct answer is dentist. Listen again.
Oh, I can give you the name of my dentist too, in Bridge Street.
Okay, I can give you the name of my dentist too in Bridge Street. So good dentist on Bridge Street. And what is the synonym of good? Listen.
If you're interested. I've been going to him for years and I've never had any problems.
I have never had any problem. So when you've never had any problem means it is good. So the synonym of good is I've never had any problems. Next, meet Linda. Now where to meet her? Meet Linda on dash after 5:30 p.m. Answer is going to be day of the week. For example, on Saturday after 5:30 p.m. Now just see how do they decide this?
thanks. That would be really helpful.
Are you planning to visit Banford soon?
Yes, my wife and I are both coming next week. We want to make some appointments with estate agents.
I could meet you if you like and show you around.
Are you sure? We'd really appreciate that.
Either Tuesday or Thursday is good for me, after 5:30.
Thursday is preferable. Tuesday, I need to get home before 6 p.m.
Okay, so Thursday is the right answer. Thursday is preferable. Tuesday, I need to get home before this time and all that. So have you noticed with every answer, they check your ability whether you understand Or if they only say Tuesday, only Tuesday, you can easily write that. But in IELTS, they always check. Sure. Question number 9. Okay.
Thanks. That would be really helpful.
Are you planning to visit Banford soon?
Yes, my wife and I are both coming next week. We want to make some appointments with estate agents.
I could meet you if you like and show you around.
Are you sure? We'd really appreciate that.
Either Tuesday or Thursday is good for me, after 5:30.
Okay, so far we know either it is Tuesday or Thursday. Now let's see which one they decide.
Thursday is preferable.
Thursday is preferable. And then again he says,
Tuesday, I need to get home before 6 p.m.
okay, so Tuesday I need to get home before 6 p.m. Now last question, in the dash opposite the station. Now where they are going to meet Linda, in the dash, in something, and opposite the station. Opposite means across the station, other side of the station, and all that.
Let me know which train you're catching, and I'll meet you in the cafe outside. You can't miss it. It's opposite the station and next to the museum.
Okay, it's opposite the station and next to the museum. What do they mean by it? Cafe. When the answer comes, she said, I can meet you in the cafe. It's opposite the station and next to the museum. Correct answer is cafe. All right, let's get started. Now we have IELTS Listening Part 2. And Part 2 is a commentary where one person will talk on any social situation. Part 1, moving to a city, is a social situation. Part 2, there will be another social situation. Part 3, there will be educational context. And Part 4 also educational. Okay. So, questions 11 to 16. What advantages does the speaker mention for each of the following physical activities? Now, they have given us physical activities in the questions. Question 11, using a gym. Question 12, running. These are physical activities. And advantages are given in the box. And they will give you half minute to read the questions. So, will you read questions or options? Options. Because questions will come as they are one by one in the audio. They will not change them. But these options, advantages, they are going to paraphrase them, reword them. So now we see how do they interpret them. Option A, not dependent on season. For not dependent on season, they commonly say you can do it at any time of the year. At any time of the year means not dependent on season. Or they can say regardless of the season. Or whether it is summer or winter, you can do that. So when they say this, it means it is not dependent on season. Do not expect that in the audio they will use exactly the same word. Never. Okay. Option B, enjoyable. Now they will not use the word enjoyable. They will say it will be fun. It will be amusing. Amusing, fun, entertaining, entertainment. So this option will go there. Option C, low risk of injury. Low risk. In IELTS, low risk is translated as less chance. Risk means chance. Low risk, less chance. For injury, they can use the word injury. They can use the word hurting yourself, right? Or any other word like that. Option D, fitness level unimportant. Now, when they say level unimportant, it means beginners to advanced. When they say level unimportant, it means anybody can do it. Anybody can do it because fitness level is unimportant. Option E, sociable. Now, when some activity is sociable, you meet with other people, you make new friends, you talk to people. So, if there is any involvement like this, then it is going to be option E. Fast results. Now, fast results means in short period of time, and for results, they use the word difference. You can see big difference in 2 weeks. Now, what is 2 weeks? Fast. Big difference is result. Okay, so fast results, big difference in 2 weeks and all that. Option G, motivating. For motivating, they commonly use the word motivating, encouraging, right? So there can be somebody to motivate you, to encourage you and all that. Now, question number 11, and by the way, when you write your answer, you will write these labels A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So question number 11, using a gym. Now, what will you do? Your left hand, if you're a right-hander, your left hand will be on question number 11 and right hand will move through the options. And when some option clicks you, you will just see A, B, C, D and you will write it down. So, let's start.
So, if you're one of those people who hasn't found the perfect physical activity yet, here are some things to think about which might help you make the right decision for you. The first question to ask yourself is whether you would enjoy training in a gym. Many people are put off by the idea of having to fit a visit to the gym into their busy day. You often have to go very early or late, as some gyms can get very crowded. But with regular training, you'll see a big difference in a relatively short space of time.
Okay, with regular training, you can see big difference in short space of time. That is option F. Big difference in short space of time. Got it? So if you translate it like this, then you will find the answer. Otherwise, answer will come and go and then you will write any letter and that will be wrong. Okay? Question number 12, running.
Running has become incredibly popular in recent years. That's probably got a lot to do with the fact that it's a very accessible form of exercise. Anyone can run, even if you can only run a few meters to begin with.
Okay, anyone can run, even if you run for few meters to begin with. Anyone can run. That is option D. Fitness level unimportant. Anyone can run. Anyone means without any fitness level. Like you say, anyone can dance. So this is anyone can run. Question number 13, swimming.
Swimming is another really good way to build fitness. What attracts many people is that you can swim in an indoor pool at any time of year. On the other hand, it can be quite boring.
You can swim in an indoor pool any time of the year. Any time of the year is not dependent on season. Okay, you can swim in an indoor pool any time of the year. That is option A. All right, question number 14 is cycling.
Cycling has become almost as popular as running in recent years. That's probably because, as well as improving their fitness, many people say being out in the fresh air in a park or in the countryside can be fun, provided the conditions are right, of course.
Okay, being outside is fun. In the park or open air, it can be fun. So fun means enjoyable. That is option B. Question number 15, doing yoga.
Yoga is a good choice for those of you looking for exercise which focuses on developing both a healthy mind and body. It's a good way of building strength, and with the right instructor, there's less chance of hurting yourself than with other more active sports.
Okay, there is less chance of hurting yourself. When you're doing yoga, nothing will happen, okay? Actually, nothing will happen even after that. Once I joined yoga classes, I was putting on more weight. So I left them. Anyways, so correct answer is C, low risk of injury, less chance of hurting yourself. Now we've got question number 16, training with a personal trainer. Like you join a gym and there you have your personal trainer.
Getting a personal trainer is a good way to start your fitness program. Obviously, there can be significant costs involved, but if you've got someone there to encourage you and help you achieve your goals, you're less likely to give up.
Okay, if there is someone to encourage you and help you achieve your goals, so that is motivating, option G. Okay? All right, now we have double multiple choice questions, questions 17 and 18. For which two reasons does the speaker say people give up going to the gym. Give up means they don't go. They pay the fee, they go for 1 to 2 days, and after that they say, Toba, I don't want to go there, I'm fine here, right? So which two reasons does the speaker say people give up? Give up means leave, quit, going to the gym. Option A, lack of time. Like they say, people are busy, they don't find spare time, right? If it is time, A will be the right answer. Loss of confidence. For loss of confidence, for confidence, they commonly use the word interest. People lose interest, right? People lose interest and all that. Option C, too much effort required. Like they say, it takes a lot of energy, a lot of effort, or a lot of determination. And for effort, they may use the word hard work. It needs a lot of hard work. Option D, high costs. For high cost, they may use the word gyms are very expensive, right? But they are saying for which two reasons does the speaker say people give up going to the gym? Option E, feeling less successful than others. Like you look at somebody who is slim and there you are, everyone is looking at you, yeah? So feeling less successful than others. Like you say, he lost weight in 10 days and I'm even gaining more and all that. So what are the two reasons? They will discuss all 5 options. It's more like true false. 3 options will be discussed in a false way. For example, option A, lack of time, right? In the audio, if the speaker says, some people say that people give up going to the gym, which is because of lack of time. But that is not right. Lack of time is gone. This is called elimination. If you eliminate the wrong options, then you are likely to find the right answers. Like in part 1, they always give you 2 to 3 options and you have to decide which is the right one. So over here also, you need to eliminate wrong answers and then you will be left with the right answer. Okay. Now, let's see.
Whatever you do, don't join a gym unless you're sure you'll make good use of it. So many people waste lots of money by signing up for membership and then hardly ever go. What happens to their good intentions? I don't think people suddenly stop caring about improving their fitness or decide they have more important things to do. I think people lose interest when they don't think they're making enough progress. That's when they give up hope and stop believing they'll ever achieve their goals. Also, what people sometimes don't realize when they start is that it takes a lot of determination and hard work to keep training week after week, and lots of people don't have that kind of commitment.
2 options you have to select. E and C, okay, it is equal to 2 marks. So if your one answer is correct, one is incorrect, you will get 1 mark for it. The right answers are option B for boy and C for cat. Okay, now I tell you why. B and C are right answers and other answers are wrong.
Whatever you do, don't join a gym unless you're sure you'll make good use of it. So many people waste lots of money by signing...
Okay, so many people waste lots of money. People waste lots of money. High costs. No. She did not mention that gyms are expensive. She said people waste lots of money. That's very simple.
...up for membership and then hardly ever go.
Okay, they pay the money and then they hardly go. It means after paying, they don't go. Right? So it's not that gyms are a high cost or anything like that. That's not the reason. Now after D, please come to option A.
What happens to their good intentions? I don't think people suddenly stop caring about improving their fitness or decide they have more important things to do.
Or decide they have more important things to do. Decide more important things to do, that is lack of time. But she said, I don't think. When she said, I don't think, whatever she says after that, it will not be the answer. So A is also not the answer. Now we have eliminated. Eliminated means crossed. Option D and option A.
I think people lose...
I think. Now you need to focus. I think people lose...
interest when they don't think they're making enough progress.
Okay, people lose interest when they think they're not making enough progress.
That's when they give up hope.
That's when they give up hope. Lose interest, give up hope. That is option B, loss of confidence. When you lose interest, when you give up hope, it means you are losing your confidence. So first correct answer is B. Now please come to option E.
And stop believing they'll ever achieve their goals. Also, what people sometimes don't realize when they start is that it takes a lot of determination and hard work.
Okay, what people don't realize when they start, it takes a lot of determination and hard work. Which option? Option C, too much effort required. A lot of determination and hard work. So second correct answer is option C. Okay, now we go on to questions 19 and 20. Choose two letters. Which two pieces of advice does the speaker give for setting goals? Now underline two pieces of advice and setting goals. Goal setting is the topic and speaker gives two pieces of advice. Option A, write goals down. If she says, some people say it is important to write your goals down, but to me, it is not necessary. Will it be the answer? No. You have to focus what speaker says, right? Option B, have achievable aims. Achievable. For achievable, they commonly use the word measurable. So you should have measurable goals, right? If she says that your goals should be measurable, then B will be the right answer. And if she says it's not necessary to have measurable goals, something like that. Option C, set a time limit. Set a time limit means within 10 days I will do this. Within 30 days I will do that. So set a time limit. If it is important, if she says time limit is important. If she says you don't need to give time limit to yourself, right? Or don't make yourself time bound, then it is not the answer. Option D, give yourself reward. For reward, they commonly use the word treat. Every time you achieve your goal, give yourself a treat. For example, you lose 1 kg. You go to eat burgers, pizzas and all that. So I lost 1 kg. Okay, then you will put on 2 kgs. All right. So option E, challenge yourself. Challenge yourself means give yourself a challenge that I'll do it. Okay. Now let's see two pieces of advice speaker give for goal setting.
One thing you can do to help yourself is to set manageable goals. Be realistic and don't push yourself too far. Some people advise writing goals down, but I think it's better to have a flexible approach. Give yourself a really nice treat every time you reach one of your goals. And don't get too upset if you experience setbacks. It's a journey. There are bound to be difficulties along the way.
Say dangerous time when you are waiting for the answer and the audio finishes. Correct answer is option B and option? Okay, that's correct. B for boy and D for doctor. I'm playing it again. Now please realize why these two answers are correct.
One thing you can do to help yourself is to set manageable goals.
One thing you can do to help yourself is to set manageable goals. Which option? Option B. To set manageable goals. Manageable means achievable. Okay? So have achievable aims or manageable goals which you can achieve.
Be realistic and don't push yourself too far. Some people advise writing goals down.
Some people advise writing goals down. And now what does she say?
But I think it's better to have a flexible approach.
But I think it's better to have a flexible. Flexible means whether you want to write it, you can write. If you don't write, it's okay. That is what we call flexible approach. So A is not the right answer. Okay. Now we go on.
Give yourself a really nice treat.
Give yourself a really nice treat every time you reach your goal.
Every time you reach one of your goals.
Okay, that is option D. Give yourself rewards, right? And we found two answers.
And don't get too upset if you experience setbacks.
Okay,
It's-
setback. Now, what is setback? Failure. Okay, setback is failure. And option C is set a time limit. She did not say time limit. She said setbacks. Don't be too upset when you face setbacks. Setback is failure. Like you want to lose your weight, but you're not losing. Something like that, okay? And then she says,
It's a journey. There are bound to be difficulties along the way.
all right. And she said, don't push yourself too hard. Don't push yourself too hard is the opposite of option E. Challenge yourself. Challenge yourself means push yourself too hard. But she said, don't push yourself too hard. Okay, now we go on and we have IELTS listening part 3. And listening part 3 is important. It is important in a way that in part 3 we have educational content which will be discussed. You will see 2 students, sometimes 1 tutor and 1 student, and they'll be discussing their assignment, project, proposal, presentation, or anything like that. And most of the time the topics are technical. Okay, for example here, project of using natural dyes to color fabrics. Now dye, what is dye? It's a color. Like, you know, you go to the dyer. Dyer is a person who dyes. Okay, so natural dyes. Natural dyes are the dyes which are found in nature. Okay, for example, any vegetable, any fruit which they use as a dye. So project on using natural dyes to color fabric. Now to color the cloth, and they're using natural dye. This is their project. So 2 students are discussing it. Question number 21. What first inspired Jim? Underline first. Inspired Jim to choose this project. Now what first inspired? You have to see first inspired. What inspired him second? What inspired him last will not be your answer. Your answer is, for example, he says, that is when I decided. At that time, I decided to choose this project. Okay, so that will be first inspired. Now we have 3 options and you need to cut them short. Option A, textile displayed. That's it. He will talk about an exhibition and textiles displayed. Option B, book. See that I'm not reading all the option. Book. If he was first inspired by a book, and if he says, later I read a book, will it be the answer? When he says, later I read a book, later means not first inspired. So if he says, well, I was actually inspired by a book initially, or initially I was inspired by a book, then it will be the answer. And option C, carpets. Right? He says, I saw colorful carpets, and that is when I decided to do a project on this or anything like that. Now you need to see whether it was a display, textile display, a book, or carpets when he decided. Keep this point in mind, first inspired. He may tell you very cunningly, later on I went to a museum where I saw carpets, later on. Okay, or if he says next, I read a book about it, next. Next even does not mean first inspired, okay? So,
Okay, Jim, you wanted to see me about your textile design project.
That's right. I've been looking at how a range of natural dyes can be used to colour fabrics like cotton and wool.
Why did you choose that topic?
Well, I got a lot of useful ideas from the museum, you know, at that exhibition of textiles. But I've always been interested in anything to do with colour. Years ago, I went to a carpet shop with my parents when we were on holiday in Turkey, and I remember all the amazing colours.
They might not all have been natural dyes.
Maybe not, but for the project, I decided to follow it up. And I found a great book about a botanic garden in California that specialises in plants used for dyes.
Okay.
see that? How cunningly he discussed all the options and you had to see first inspired. Okay, so let's listen to it again. Correct answer is C, by the way.
Okay, Jim, you wanted to see me about your textile design project.
That's right. I've been looking at how a range of natural dyes can be used to colour fabrics like cotton and wool.
Why did you choose that topic?
Well, I got a lot of useful ideas from the museum. You
I got a lot of useful ideas from the museum.
know, at that exhibition of textiles.
Exhibition of textiles. He just said, I got a lot of ideas, but he did not connect it with first inspired.
But I've always been interested in anything to do with colour. Years ago, I went to a carpet shop with my
Years ago, I went to a carpet shop.
parents when we were on holiday in Turkey, and I remember all the amazing colours.
They might not all have been natural dyes.
Maybe not, but for the project, I decided to follow it up.
For the project, I decided to follow it up. So he saw carpets, right? And then he decided to follow it up for the project. So what first inspired Jim? He was inspired by carpets. And then he decided to do it. So correct answer is option C. Now we say, what do they say about a book?
And I found a great book about a botanic garden in California.
And I found a great book about botanic garden in California, but that book did not inspire him first. So first he was inspired by carpets. Question number 22. Jim eventually decided to do a practical investigation which involved. Now practical investigation, there is some practical. Now what does involve, or what does he involve in the practical? Option A, range of dyes, different fabric. Range of dyes. Dyes are what? Colors. Range of means different colors and different fabric. So if he decided to involve different dyes and different fabrics, answer will be A. If different dyes and one fabric, try to understand, it's confusing. Option A is different dyes, different fabric. Option B is different dyes and one fabric. For example, cotton or any other. And option C, one dye and range of fabrics. Okay, now let's see what does he. Range of fabrics means cotton, nylon and all that. One dye means single color, one color. Okay, so let's see what does he do. This one is confusing.
So in your project, you had to include a practical investigation.
Yeah. At first, I couldn't decide on my variables. I was going to just look at one type of fibre, for example, like cotton.
And see how different types of dyes affected it.
Yes. Then I decided to include others as well. So I looked at cotton and wool and nylon.
With just one type of dye.
Various types.
See, cotton, nylon, this, and then the tutor said with one type of dyes, she said various. He said various. So what's the option? Well done. Using a range of dyes and range of fabrics. For range of fabrics, they use the word cotton, nylon and all that. Okay. Please focus this part again.
Include a practical investigation.
Like cotton.
And see how different types of dyes affected it.
Yes. Then I decided to include others as well.
See, then I decided to include others.
So I looked at cotton and wool and nylon.
Cotton, wool, nylon. Now they are fabrics.
With just one type of dye.
Various types.
With just one type of dyes, various types. So dye is various and fabric is also various. That is why it is option A. Using a range of dyes with different fibers. Next, question number 23. When doing his experiment, Jim was surprised. Now underline surprised. Out of 3 options, 2 options will be expected. So what is expected will not be the answer. What he was not expecting will be the answer. So option A, how much natural material? So amount of natural material. And what is natural material? Maybe vegetable, maybe a fruit, maybe leaves from the tree. So he needed a pile of trees or a pile of fruit to make that dye and all that. So option A is amount of natural material. Option B, fact that dyes were widely available on internet. Underline dyes available on internet. If he was surprised to see that natural dyes were available on internet, B will be the right answer. Option C, time that he had to leave the fabric in the dye. If he says, I had to leave it for 48 hours, surprisingly, or I was astonished to realize that I had to leave it for 48 hours. So time and he had to leave it in the fabric. Now, if you imagine there is a student who is making natural dyes and to dye the cloth and all that, you can understand things better. So, let's see.
So I did the experiments last week. I used some ready-made natural dyes. I found a website which supplied them. They came in just a few days, but I also made some of my own.
That must have taken quite a bit of time.
Yes. I thought it'd just be a matter of a teaspoon or so of dye, and actually that wasn't the case at all. Like, I was using one vegetable, a beetroot, for a red dye, and I had to chop up a whole pile of it. So it all took longer than I'd expected.
I had to chop up a whole pile of it, beetroot, and it took longer than I had expected. A, exactly. How much natural material was needed to make a dye? Now, let's see why option B and C are incorrect. Please follow me again.
So I did the experiments
First, we are discussing option B.
last week. I used some ready-made natural dyes. I found a website which supplied them.
I found a website which supplied them. Now, is he getting amazed about it? No. He said, I found a website, so option B is gone because he's not surprised about it.
They came in just a few days, but
Okay, they came in just a few days. Like, the dyes came, he ordered online, and they came within, like your order comes within few days, it's like that. So it's actually not time that he had to leave the fabric in the dye.
also made some of my own.
That must have taken quite a bit of time.
Yes.
Okay, I made some of my own. He made dyes. And option C is time he had to leave the fabric in the dye. Like you soak it in the dye. Okay, so don't be misguided by the word time. It must have taken a long time. If you don't understand, you will say, yeah, pakka C, yeah, no problem, right? Now we go on.
I thought it'd just be a matter of a teaspoon or so of dye.
I thought it would be a matter of teaspoon or so. I thought. Now, when something is unexpected, for that they use the word I thought. I thought, and then they say it took more.
And actually, that wasn't the case at all.
That wasn't the case at all. So remember these things. I thought that wasn't the case at all. So whenever they talk about something which is surprising, for that they use such phrases.
Like, I was using one vegetable, a beetroot, for a red dye, and I had to chop up a whole pile of it.
Okay, beetroot, you might have eaten that. So I had to chop up a whole pile of it. I had to chop up a whole pile of it means how much natural material was needed to make the dye. And how much material? A whole pile of it. Chop up a whole pile of it. Okay, now we have question number 24. What problem did Jim have with using tetrazine as a fabric dye? Now, three things, three problems. Out of three, he did not come across two problems, but he came across one problem. So, underline the word problem, using tetrazine. Option A, allergic reaction, right? If it caused allergic reaction, he started sneezing, or he started coughing, or his skin was damaged badly, it will be A. Option B, not a permanent dye on cotton. Like he used that dye on cotton, and when he washed the cotton, the color was faded or the color was gone. Then it could be option B. And option C, ineffective when using on nylon. The color did not actually go on nylon, or it could not color nylon. Right? So if it was ineffective when using nylon, C will be the right answer. So let's see what happened. And again, problem. You need to focus the problem.
One possibility is to use food colourings.
I did use one. That was a yellow dye, an artificial one.
Tetrazine?
Yeah, I used it on cotton first. It came out a great colour. But when I rinsed the material, the colour just washed away. I'd been going to try it out on nylon, but I abandoned that idea.
Were you worried about health issues?
I thought if it's a legal food colouring, it must be safe.
Well, it can occasionally cause allergic reactions, I believe.
She talked about all the options. Now it is for you to decide which is the right one and which should be eliminated. Okay? All right. Now, I just play it again and I want you to realize what is the wrong answer and what is the right answer. Let's start again. Option B.
One possibility is to use food colourings.
I did use one. That was a yellow dye, an artificial one.
Tartrazine.
Yeah, I used it on cotton first.
Okay, I used it on cotton first, option B, because we have cotton in option B.
It came out a great colour.
It came out a great color.
When I rinsed the material, the colour just washed away.
When I rinsed the material, the color just washed away. What does it mean? Not a permanent dye on cotton. When I rinsed the material, rinse means kangalna. The color washed away, means the color was gone. So not a permanent dye. That is the right answer. Now we see why other two options are wrong. Option C.
I'd been going to try it out on nylon, but
I was going to try it out on nylon,
I abandoned that idea.
but I abandoned that idea. What does it mean? Abandoned. Chhod diya. Give up. I abandoned that idea. So option C is wrong because he abandoned the idea. Now come to option A.
Were you worried about health issues?
I thought if it's a legal food colouring, it must be safe.
Well, it can occasionally cause allergic reactions, I
Okay,
believe.
it can cause allergic reaction. Did it cause allergic reaction to Jim? No, it causes, but not to him. Okay, that is why A is not the right answer. This is advanced English, so sometimes it becomes French or Pashto for you. Okay, you need to understand this. All right, now we go on. Once again, we have matching type of questions. What problem is identified with each of the natural dyes? Now, natural dyes are questions and problems are options. So, will you read questions or options? Options, because questions are turmeric, beetroot, Tyrian purple. They will talk about them one by one and they will not change the names. Okay, option A, it is expensive. Underline the word expensive. There are many words to redefine expensive. They may say it cost a fortune. For example, if I say this mic cost me a fortune, this mic cost me a fortune means this mic is very expensive. For example, you buy a car and you say this car cost me a fortune, means this car is very, very expensive. Like you can talk about jewelry or new iPhone cost me a fortune. Next, color is too strong. They will say strong color, permanent color, and all that. Option C, color is not long lasting. Not long lasting means temporary, not permanent. Okay? And option D, very poisonous. For poisonous, they can use the word dangerous, toxic, or anything like that. Option E, it can damage the fabric. Damage the fabric means it can affect the fabric. Damage, affect, destroy the fabric, break the fabric, like that. Option F, color may be unexpected. Now what is unexpected color? You are expecting red color and it gives you pink color. This is unexpected. You make a dye and you are expecting this dye will give me green color, but it gives you brown color. So it is what? Unexpected. Option G, unsuitable for some fabrics. For example, not good for cotton or not suitable for cotton or for nylon and all that. Option H, not generally available. Now, not available means rare. R-A-R-E, rare. When something is not available, it is rare, not generally available. We call it rare. Like we use the word rare breeds of animals, which are not available everywhere. So question number 25, turmeric. We use turmeric at home as well. So now let's see, what do they say about it?
So what natural dyes did you look at?
Well, one was turmeric. The colour's great. It's a really strong yellow. It's generally used in dishes like curry.
It's meant to be quite good for your health when eaten, but you might find it's not permanent when it's used as a dye. A few washes and it's gone.
Right.
Okay, it's not permanent. A few washes and it is gone. C is the right answer. Yeah, लेकिन यासीन के कपड़ों पे सालन का दाग लग जाए हल्दी वाला तो उतरता ही नहीं है. But they are saying few washes and it is Gone. किस शादी में आप गए थे जब आपके ऊपर सालन गिर गया था? All right. So old things. Okay, question number 26. Beetroot. Now beetroot is something we eat as well. It's a vegetable, beetroot.
I used beetroot as a dye for wool. When I chop up beetroot to eat, I always end up with bright red hands. But the wool ended up just a sort of watery cream shade. Disappointing.
Okay, hands were red, but on the cloth it was watery cream shade. Hands were red, but on the cloth it was watery cream shade. Option F. Color may be unexpected. Hands were red, so he was expecting red color, but over there it was watery cream shade. Unexpected color. Next question number 27 is Tyrian purple. Now for you it is not necessary to know the meaning of Tyrian. Take it as a dye. They mention natural dyes. So Tyrian may be the name of a plant or tree or vegetable or a fruit. Just take it as it is. Meaning is not important. Tyrian purple.
There's a natural dye called Tyrian purple. Have you heard of that?
Yes, it comes from a shellfish, and it was worn in ancient times, but only by important people, as it was so rare. I didn't use it.
It fell out of use centuries ago, though one researcher managed to get hold of some recently.
Okay, it was so rare, I didn't use it. So rare means it is not generally available. That is option H, Tyrian purple. And once upon a time, purple was the color of rich people in the past. Because this Tyrian purple, there was that shell, from the shell they got it, and only rich people could afford it. So anybody in the past wearing purple color, they would say, wow, he can afford purple color, we cannot afford. But now, we can afford all the colors. Logwood. Logwood is the wood which we use to burn. That is called logwood. So, let's see.
Did you use any black dyes?
Logwood. That was quite complicated. I had to prepare the fabric so the dye would take.
I hope you were careful to wear gloves.
Yes, I know the danger with that dye.
Good, it can be extremely dangerous if it's ingested.
Okay, the danger, it can be extremely dangerous when ingested. That is option D. It is very poisonous. For very poisonous, they use the word extremely dangerous. Next, cochineal.
Now, presumably you had a look at an insect-based dye, like cochineal, for example.
Yes, I didn't actually make that. I didn't have time to start crushing up insects to get the red colour, and anyway, they're not available here. But I managed to get the dye quite easily from a website, but it cost a fortune. I can see why it's generally just used in cooking, and
Okay, cochineal, it cost a fortune. What do? There are some insects. They crush the insects and they make it. And they're saying they use it in cooking. Wow, that's amazing, huh? So correct answer is A. It is expensive, means it cost a fortune. By the way, IELTS listening and IELTS reading is a good source of learning, improving your knowledge, information, and all that stuff as well. So if you take it seriously, you can understand a lot. Next, question number 30, metal oxide.
I also read about using metal oxide. Apparently you can allow iron to rust while it's in contact with the fabric, and that colours it.
Yes, that works well for dyeing cotton. But you have to be careful as the metal can actually affect the fabric, and so you can't expect to get a lot of wear out of fabric.
Okay, you have to be careful. Metal can affect the fabric. Metal can affect the fabric means it can damage the fabric. Correct answer is E. All right. Okay guys, now in IELTS listening part 4, we are going to learn about lizard. Yasin, do teen pakad ke laiyega lizards. I want to demonstrate here. You have in your pockets? Okay, he's a lizard killer. And he's got pet lizard as well. Okay, yeah, the real pet lizard, he's got it, yeah. And he uses lizard as a nickname for someone special. Anyways, section 4, we've got write one word only. So there will be a lecture and the topic is sleepy lizard. Okay, now you are going to learn sleepy lizard, and then in bracket, they have given biological name. Don't try to read it. Just focus sleepy lizard. It is Deliqua rugosa. Now you will say Tilico rugosa. You don't need to read that, okay? Don't scare yourselves. Sleepy lizard is a type of lizard. Description, Australia, there is no question. So you don't need to read it. Okay, second bullet point, they are brown. What do they mean by they? Lizards are brown, right? Yeah. Then they say, but recognized by their. What do they mean by their? Lizards, blue, dash. Now, one part of lizard's body is blue. Maybe lizard has got blue eyes. Beautiful ones, okay? So let's see what thing is beautiful or what thing is blue actually. Yeah, Blue Eyes is one of my favorite songs, Elton John.
Last week we started looking at reptiles, including crocodiles and snakes. Today, I'd like us to have a look at another reptile, the lizard, and in particular, at some studies that have been done on a particular type of lizard whose Latin name is Tiliqua rugosa. This is commonly known as the sleepy lizard because it's quite slow in its movements and spends quite a lot of its time dozing under rocks or lying in the sun. I'll start with a general description. Sleepy lizards live in Western and South Australia, where they're quite common. Unlike European lizards, which are mostly small, green and fast-moving, sleepy lizards are brown, but what's particularly distinctive about them is the colour of their tongue, which is dark blue. In contrast,
Okay, the color of their tongue, which is dark blue. Now, will you write dark blue? You're going to write tongue. How do you spell tongue? Tongue. Absolutely. So correct answer is tongue. Some lizards have blue tongue, some lizards have long tongue. It's okay, yeah? All right. So they are relatively large. Now they will talk about the size of the lizard. The ones we have, they are small, but there are large lizards as well. Their means again, lizards' diet consists mainly. Now listen, for mainly they will say they can eat grass and vegetables, but they mostly eat rats. For example, they mostly eat rats means correct answer is rats, mostly. Now over here mainly, and there they will say mostly, okay? Don't feel bad about it. This is IELTS listening, we have to do it, okay? So let's see, what do they mainly eat?
and they're much bigger than most European lizards. They have quite a varied diet, including insects and even small animals, but they mostly eat plants of varying kinds.
Okay, insects and other small animals, but they mostly eat plants. That's right. Correct answer is plants. Question number 33. Their main predator. Predator is an animal. For example, lion and zebra. Which animal is predator? Lion is the predator. Lion eats zebra. So their main predator means an animal that eats the lizard are large birds. For large birds, they may use the word eagles, falcon and all that. And dash. So it means another animal that eats the lizard. Okay? And answer will come after large bird. And for large bird, they may use the word falcon, eagle or any other bird.
Even though they're quite large and powerful, with strong jaws that can crush beetles and snail shells, they still have quite a few predators. Large birds like cassowaries were one of the main ones in the past, but nowadays they're more likely to be caught and killed by snakes.
Okay, they are more likely to be caught and killed by snakes. Well done. So correct answer is snakes. And before that they have written birds. So if one option is plural, after and second option should also be plural if it is a countable noun. So answer is snakes. Then navigation study. Navigation means how do they find the way? Like we say navigation, right? One study means research. One research found that lizards can use the dash to help them navigate. Now what do they use? Maybe a natural phenomena, sky, clouds, stars, moon or anything like that. So lizards can use. For lizards can use, they can use the word as long as they can see the something. As long as they can see the stars, they can find their way. As long as they can see the clouds, they find their way. Something like that. So let's see.
One study carried out by Michael Freak at Flinders University investigated the methods of navigation of these lizards. Though they move slowly, they can travel quite long distances. And he found that even if they were taken some distance away from their home territory, they could usually find their way back home as long as they could see the sky.
Okay, they
They
can
didn't
find
need any
their
other
way
landmarks
back
on the
home
ground.
as long as they can see the sky.
Taken some distance away from their home territory, they could usually find their way back home as long as they could see the sky.
Okay, they can find their way back home as long as they could see the sky. Next, observations in the wild. Observations show, this is something I like about this lizard. This is good one. Observations show that these lizards keep the same dash for several years. Now keep the same, right? Now what is it that they keep the same for several years? Let's see.
One study carried observations of these lizards in the wild have also revealed that their mating habits are quite unusual. Unlike most animals, it seems that they're relatively monogamous, returning to the same partner year after year.
Okay, returning to the same partner year after year. So they are loyal. Okay, answer is partner, not same. Same is already written. Okay, how can you say lizards keep the same? Okay, that's not right. So answer is partner. Like they return to the same partner years after years. They don't have affairs and all that. Next we have what people want. Possible reasons. Now what do people want? Improve the survival of their young. Okay, now how to improve the survival of their young? Young means baby lizards, right? But to improve the survival of their young, in order to improve the survival means otherwise other animals can eat baby lizards. So, but little dash has been noted between parents and children. Little what? In order to keep the survival of children, they do something which is very little. Okay, little dash. For little again, they can use the word hardly any. Little or hardly any something.
And the male and female also stay together for a long time, both before and after the birth of their young. It's quite interesting to think about the possible reasons for this. It could be that it's to do with protecting their young. You'd expect them to have a much better chance of survival if they have both parents around. But in fact, observers have noted that once the babies have hatched out of their eggs, they have hardly any contact with their parents. So there's not really any evidence to support that idea.
Okay, so when the babies hatch out of the eggs, they have hardly any contact with their parents. Hardly any contact means little contact has been noted between parents and children. Hardly any contact. Okay, so correct answer is contact. Okay. Next, to provide dash for female lizards. Now, to provide female lizards what? For provide, they use the word give.
Another suggestion is based on the observation that male lizards in monogamous relationships tend to be bigger and stronger than other males. So maybe the male lizards stay around so they can give the female lizards protection from other males.
All
But
right.
again,
they
we're
have
not
the
really
same
sure.
problem like we have in our society. So male lizards stay around so that they give protection to female. वो भी छेड़छाड़ करते होंगे ना, that's why. So answer is protection. Okay, please listen to it again, this one.
Another suggestion is based on the observation that male lizards in monogamous relationships tend to be bigger and stronger than other males. So maybe the male lizards stay around so they can give the female lizards protection from other males.
Okay, they can give female lizard protection from other male lizards. Okay, so let's go on. Tracking study. They have another one. A study was carried out. Research was carried out using GPS system attached to the dash of the lizard. Now, small GPS device, they attach to one part of the lizard. Guess which part? Tail? Maybe tail, head, feet, or somewhere like that.
Finally, I'd like to mention another study that involved collecting data by tracking the lizards. I was actually involved in this myself. So we caught some lizards in the wild and we developed a tiny GPS system that would allow us to track them, and we fixed this onto their tails.
Okay, so we fixed this onto their tails. How do you spell tails? T-A-I-L, not T-A-L-E. T-A-L-E, tail is story. T-A-I-L, tail is pushal. Dum, actually. And they are loyal as well. Yeah, Yasin. Okay, let's go on. Question number 39. This provides tracking study. Now the subject is tracking study. Tracking study provides information on the lizard's location and even the number of dash taken. Underline the word number of. Now learn it now. For number of, they use how many. And for amount of, they use how much. Number of, how many, amount of, how much. Okay? Amount of money, how much money. Number of people, how many people. Okay, now they've mentioned number of, so they will use how many. If they mention amount of, then they may use how much. So let's see.
Then we set the lizards free again, and we were able to track them for 12 days and gather data, not just about their location, but even about how many steps they took during this period.
Okay, how many steps they took during this period? So answer is steps. Good. Finally, we've got the last question, and it appeared that lizards were trying to avoid one another. This means avoiding one another. Now lizards were avoiding one another, means एक दूसरे के मुंह नहीं लगती. मेरे मुंह ना लगी है, लड़ाई हो जाएगी. So this may be, now avoiding one another may be in order to reduce chances of dash. Chances of something. Yeah, chances of fight. Yeah, तो लड़ाई हो जाएगी. Yeah. Okay. So let's see. Chances of. Reduce and chances. Now they will use the synonym for reduce and for chances.
One surprising thing we discovered from this is that there were far fewer meetings between lizards than we expected. It seems that they were actually trying to avoid one another. So why would that be? Well, again, we have no clear evidence, but one hypothesis is that male lizards can cause quite serious injuries to one another. So maybe this avoidance is a way of preventing this.
Okay, male lizards can cause serious injuries to one another. So this avoidance is to prevent it and all that. So this may be in order to reduce chances of injuries. That's right. Good.